They thought it would be just another royal interview. It wasn't. When Prince Harry sat across from Savannah Guthrie, the Today Show's polished routine unraveled in real time. He arrived early navy suit, polished shoes, security gliding. Behind him, PR handler murmuring pre-approved talking points like a prayer. Harry nodded, but his eyes kept sweeping the studio, assessing, mistrusting. This wasn't Buckingham Palace. It was American television, unpredictable and unfiltered. Savannah rose to greet him. "Good morning, Your Royal Highness." "Just, Harry's fine," he replied, clipped. They took their seats. Cameras rolled. "Welcome to the Today Show," Savannah began. "It's a pleasure to have you." Harry's smile was tight. "Thank you." The first 10 minutes played Nice Book Tour, charity work, a new mental health initiative for veterans. Harry spoke smoothly, hitting every talking point. Viewers at home probably saw nothing amiss. But Savannah wasn't here for a press release. "You've often spoken about privacy," she began, "especially for your family. Yet you've shared a lot of deeply personal family moments, interviews, your book, Netflix. Where do you draw the line between privacy and publicity?" Harry's smile cooled. "It's about context. When lies are told constantly, you have a right, no, an obligation to correct the record. But correcting the record means exposing private conversations, doesn't it?" Savannah pressed. "Those details about your father, your brother Ivan, your grandmother weren't public until you made them public." Harry's eyes narrowed. "That's an unfair way to put it." "It's just a question," she replied evenly. His laugh was short, sharp. "Look, I didn't come here to be grilled about my choices. Came to talk about the good this project is doing." "We'll get to that," Savannah said. "But as you've said, the public narrative matters." The tension thickened. She tried a softer turn. "You've called stepping back from royal duties one of the hardest decisions of your life. Do you ever miss that world?" "I miss the service," Harry said. "Not the institution, and your family. We're focusing on healing privately." She caught the dodge, but let it slide until her next question. "Fair enough. Let's shift gears a bit." Meghan, Harry's head snapped up. "Let's not." Savannah blinked. "I was just going to ask how she's doing." "She's fine," he said, voice icy. "But this is about me. I'd appreciate if we didn't make it about my wife." In the control room, a light flashed for commercial. Savannah didn't break eye contact, and that's when it all began to slip. Asterisk, she was television royalty, and Savannah Guthrie wasn't about to let a guest prince or not to redraw the boundaries of her interview. Still, she softened her voice. Her tone deceptively warm. "Of course. But many of our viewers are curious, how do the two of you navigate this public life together? You're partners in so many ways, and it's admirable." Harry crossed one leg over the other, exhaling slowly through his nose. "We navigate it privately," he said, "the way families should." A pause hung in the air. Savannah let it breathe, letting viewers feel the restraint, before picking up the next card without breaking eye contact. "Let's talk legacy," she began. "You've often said you want to build something meaningful beyond titles and tradition. But some critics argue that without the royal platform, your reach wouldn't be what it is today, that you've distanced yourself from the crown, yet still capitalize on the royal connection. How do you respond to that?" That did it. The smallest crack in Harry's composure, just a flicker, but enough for Savannah to see. "Are we really going there?" He muttered not into the mic, but loud enough for the boom to catch it. Savannah's smile didn't falter. "It's a fair question. One a lot of people are asking." Harry leaned back in his chair, the move calculated. But his fingers tapped out a steady, impatient rhythm against the armrest. "I've earned everything I've done outside that institution," he said. "I'm not cashing in on my family name. I'm surviving without it." Savannah gave a small nod, Surviving, but still using the titles. The Duke of Sussex is on the book cover, in the documentary credits, on the promotional posters. A sharper fire lit in Harry's eyes. That's who I am. But is it who you want to be, she asked gently, or who you need to be to stay relevant in a media-driven world? Harry uncrossed his legs, leaning forward. His gaze locked with the camera for a full heartbeat before swinging back to Savannah. I don't need relevance. I need truth. Savannah's brow lifted ever so slightly. And yet, here you are again. The silence was heavy enough to be felt in the control room. Studio lights caught a glint in Harry's eyes. Even the crew behind the glass knew something was coming. The prince hadn't erupted yet, but the pressure was unmistakable. The commercial break cue flashed. The set went quiet. But it wasn't the peace of a reset, was the kind of stillness before a storm. Harry leaned back, jaw tight, fingers still tapping. His PR handler rushed in from the shadows, leaning down to whisper something urgent in his ear. Harry nodded once, curtly, eyes fixed on a point far beyond the cameras. Savannah didn't move. Perfect posture, today's show mug in hand, her calm, almost defiant. She'd faced heads of state, war generals, CEOs on the brink. She knew the signs of a guest cracking. The countdown began. 4, 3, 2. The red light blinked on. We're back with Prince Harry, Savannah said smoothly, her tone as steady as ever. We've been discussing his journey, his legacy, and what life looks like beyond the palace. Harry gave the faintest nod. His earlier smile was gone, replaced by something more mechanical, like he'd left it behind in another segment. Savannah glanced at her card, but didn't need it. I want to ask you something that's been trending lately, and not just in the tabloids. There's been concern that your public advocacy on mental health has been overshadowed by, she hesitated, deliberately choosing her words, repeated, family criticism. Do you think your message is getting lost in the noise? Harry blinked slowly, as if weighing every syllable. My advocacy stands on its own. If people choose to fixate on headlines instead of substance, that's not my responsibility. But you created the headlines, Savannah countered soft. Voice, iron edge. The excerpts, the interviews, a tease. These weren't leaked. They were released by you. Harry's eyes narrowed. This feels less like a conversation and more like an interrogation. I'm just giving voice to what many are wondering, Savannah replied, calm and unflinching. You've always said you want to control your narrative. I'm trying to understand how that control squares with constant public exposure. Harry's laugh was sharp, humorless. Maybe because every time I try to do something meaningful, I get dragged into defending my existence. He leaned in. Like now. That's fair, Savannah conceded. Then, without missing a beat. But don't you think there's a difference between defending your existence and monetizing your grievances? There it was. The last trace of Harry's smile disappeared. They called it a royal interview. By the end, it felt more like a siege. Savannah Guthrie had no intention of letting her guest dictate the boundaries. She softened her tone. Of course she did. She was a professional, but her words stayed razor sharp. Many of our viewers are curious about how the two of you navigate this public life together. You're partners in so many ways, and it's admirable. Harry crossed one leg over the other, exhaling through his nose. We navigate it privately, the way families should. A pause. The moment settled. Savannah picked up her next card. Let's talk legacy. You've said you want to build something meaningful beyond titles and tradition. But some critics argue that without the royal platform, your reach wouldn't be what it is, that you've distanced yourself from the crown, but still capitalize on the royal connection. How do you respond? That was it. A hairline crack in his composure. Are we really going there? He didn't say it into the mic, but the boom caught it. Savannah's smile never faltered. It's a fair question. One a lot of people are asking. Harry leaned back, a textbook PR move, but his fingers drummed the armrest. I've earned everything I've done outside that institution. I'm not cashing in on my family name. I'm surviving without it. Savannah nodded lightly. Surviving, but still using the titles. The Duke of Sussex is on the book cover, the documentary credits, the posters. His eyes sparked. That's who I am. But is it who you want to be, she asked gently, or who you need to be to stay relevant in a media-driven world? Harry leaned forward, meeting the camera's lens like it was an adversary. I don't need relevance. I need truth. And yet, Savannah said, here you are again. Silence. Even the crew behind the glass felt it, a storm building. The commercial break landed like divine intervention in the stillness. Harry sat back, jaw tight, tapping a staccato rhythm into the armrest. His PR handler slipped in, whispered urgently. He gave a single dismissive nod, eyes fixed past the cameras. Savannah sipped calmly from her Today Show mug, unreadable. She'd handled politicians mid-scandal, CEOs under federal investigation, generals just back from war. She knew when a guest was fracturing, coming back in 4, 3, 2. We're back with Prince Harry, Savannah said smoothly. We've been talking about your journey, your legacy, and life beyond the palace. The earlier smile was gone, only the muscle memory remained. Savannah didn't need her card for the next one. There's been concern that your advocacy on mental health is overshadowed by repeated family criticism. Do you think your message is getting lost in the noise? My advocacy stands on its own, Harry said. If people fixate on headlines instead of substance, that's not my responsibility. But you created the headlines, Savannah countered. The excerpts, the interviews, the docuseries weren't leaked. They were released by you. Harry's eyes narrowed. This sounds less like a conversation and more like an interrogation. I'm voicing what many are wondering, she replied, cool and steady. You've said you want to control your narrative. How does that square with constant public exposure? His laugh was sharp. Maybe because every time I try to do something meaningful, I get dragged into defending my existence. Like now. Savannah leaned in. Fair, but don't. You think there's a difference between defending your existence and monetizing your grievances? The smile vanished. I'm sorry. Are you accusing me of profiting off trauma? I'm asking, Savannah clarified. You've spoken about your childhood, your mother's death, your family rifts. Those stories are now part of a multi-million-dollar content machine. Do you think your pain has been commodified? Harry's chuckle was bitter. Must be nice to sit in that chair and judge how people survive. Not judging, Savannah said evenly. Questioning the message. Many young men look up to you. Veterans especially, but they're not writing books or signing Netflix deals. Does your model suggest healing requires exposure? It suggests honesty matters, Harry shot back. That breaking the cycle requires visibility, even when that honesty means publicly naming and shaming family. Sharing texts, voicemails, private conversations. Harry straightened, shoulders taut. I'm not here to be disrespected. No one is disrespecting you, Savannah said calmly. You agreed to discuss topics you've spoken on publicly. They're off limits now? Why come? No answer. Just a smirk. Maybe I overestimated the tone here. I thought I'd be treated like a human being, not a scandal headline. You are being treated like a human being, Savannah said softly. That's why I'm asking questions that require accountability, not rehearsed lines. You're baiting me, just like the British press. You're not in Britain anymore, Savannah replied. You're not being chased. You're in a studio, in control of your own words. The silence was heavy. She shifted to a new card. You've said America gave you and Meghan a fresh start. Yet much of your public life here has been about what you left behind, not what you're building. Why is that? Harry froze. You brought up Meghan, he said coldly. I referenced your shared life in the States. You're pivoting again, trying to get a reaction. Is that what your producers want? A soundbite. What? My? Producers want is clarity. What viewers want is sincerity. What I want is honesty. Is that so unreasonable? Harry stood. I'm not doing this. I'm not a circus act. The crew froze. A camera tracked him as he stepped toward the wings. Savannah didn't move. Prince Harry, she said firmly, please don't walk away. This is your platform. You came to speak. He turned back, frustration carved into his face. You don't want me to speak, you want me to perform. I want you to answer, Savannah said. Because right now, what millions are. Seeing isn't a man protecting his family, it's a man refusing to be questioned. Harry's jaw clenched. This interview is over. He walked off. The screen cut to black dot. Savannah remained in her chair, composed cue cards still in hand, as if the conversation might resume. But it wouldn't. The Duke had walked off live television. Cameras cut, viewers gasped. Twitter detonated. Within seconds, hashtag Royal Meltdown and hashtag Savannah Bound Harry were trending. In Studio 1A's control room. Chaos. Producers barked into headsets. The director scrambled for filler footage. It was too late. Millions had seen the implosion live. Back on set, Savannah quietly removed her earpiece, exhaled once, and looked straight into camera one. As you just saw, she said evenly, our conversation with Prince Harry has ended. And, just like that, a royal narrative collapsed not from scandal, but from accountability. Asterisk, the cameras were still rolling when Prince Harry stood up, mid-question, and walked off the set of NBC's Today Show. The world watched it live. But what happened after the cameras cut? That's where the real story begins. Savannah Guthrie didn't flinch, didn't editorialize, just stared down the lens with the composure of a war reporter. Our conversation with Prince Harry has come to an early end. We'll be back in a moment with more from Studio 1A. Her tone was calm, controlled, surgical. Because in that instant, it wasn't just an interview anymore. It was breaking news. Behind-the-scenes reenactment, B-roll. Harry's team scrambled. His PR handler trailed after him down the hallway, whispering desperately. Harry ripped the lapel mic from his collar and tossed it onto a makeup counter. A junior staffer offered water. He slapped it away. This was a setup, he hissed. No, sir, the handler whispered, glancing for hidden cameras. It was journalism. In the control room, executive producer Lily Saunders made rapid-fire calls. Do not pull the footage. Savannah stays live at the top of the hour. Prep the panel. Go. Someone get legal on standby. The internet didn't wait. Within 30 seconds, Twitter detonated. Hashtags like hashtag Royal Meltdown and hashtag Savannah Bound Harry shot to the top. Clips of the walk-off hit TikTok and YouTube before NBC returned from commercial break. CNN ran with Prince Harry walks off live interview. This is a setup. Fox went harder. Royal walkout Prince Harry melts. Down on Today, even the BBC couldn't resist. Duke of Sussex leaves us interview in state of distress. Meanwhile, Savannah Guthrie sat in her chair, sipping black coffee as makeup artists. Fix the eyeliner that had barely smudged. Carson Daly popped his head in. You okay? Never better, she smiled. What happened out there? He came in expecting a coronation, she replied. Turns out, it was a mirror. Hours later, NBC uploaded the full, unedited interview, walk-off and all. 3 million views in the first hour. Comments poured in. This is journalism. Respect to Savannah. Harry wants privacy, but talks about his family non-stop. Pick a lane. She was professional. He was petulantably absent. Any statement from Meghan Markle. Not a tweet, not a press release, digital silence. Montage of headlines. British tabloids had a field day. The Daily Mail. Harry humiliated on American soil. Again, The Guardian. Guthrie asks, what royal press won't Prince loses plot? Live on air. Even Buckingham Palace weighed in, sort of. His Majesty the King remains focused on his public duties and family. He will not be commenting on the Duke of Sussex's recent interview. Inside Montecito, sources say Harry refused calls from Netflix and Penguin Random House, a planned media tour for his upcoming documentary. Quietly cancelled. The walk-off wasn't the real problem. The problem was what happened before. A man unraveling under simple question.